Hey, what's up, New Life group leaders? Kevin Pentz here with a good friend of mine, Mr. Brad Page.
Yeah,
and,
not Brad Green.
We have actually known each other for
months.
Hold on, do the math.
If you carry the one, 10 years?
No, you're way off. I'm going to
7
say
months?
No,
6 minutes.
14 years. You've known each
14
other for
years?
14 years. Yeah.
Oh, it is 14 years.
And
you carry the one.
And so Brad is somebody that was a big mentor to me when I was a student in high school. It's kind of cool to be able to get to work together.
And I appreciate him making me feel old. It's really cool that I mentored him when he was in high school, and he brings that up here. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What we're talking about today is pastoral care in groups. You as a group leader, you're really on the front line of what it looks like to care for God's flock that He's entrusted to you. So we want to just coach you a little bit on how to care for the people that God's put in your group, in your life, for you to disciple, and what to do in certain situations. So, Brad, you had a couple scriptures you wanted to share.
I did. Pastoral care is sort of that where the rubber meets the road. It's the meat of the group. It's where I truly feel that we become the church. And some of the verses from Romans 12 is 12:10 says, "Be devoted to one another in brotherly love." Verse 13 of chapter 12 in Romans says, "Share with the Lord's people who are in need." And number 15, I think, really, really sums it up. We rejoice with those who rejoice, and we mourn with those who mourn. Romans 12 really, those verses really outline what we're supposed to do when we are leading a group.
That's beautiful. So what we wanted to walk you guys through is a couple steps on what to do in pastoral care moments, because oftentimes they happen at unexpected times, and you're like, what do I do now? And so we wanted to just kind of give you a really basic, simple outline guide on how to deal with it. So step one is recognizing when somebody is in crisis or there's an opportunity for pastoral care. Every week is pastoral care, but there's specific moments that are crucial where we can either lean in and provide that care that people so desperately need, or we can miss it. And oftentimes people can feel burned. They can feel left out. They can feel like they got missed by the church. And that is not God's heart. And you and I get to be a part of sharing God's love with those people in moments of crisis. So step one, recognizing the need. How do you recognize the need, Brad?
It could be a phone call or text you receive, maybe an email.
Yeah.
It could be maybe there's a plane flying and they've got a banner. You never know what it's going to be, but you're going to recognize something, a phone call or text.
Yeah.
Also, you might have a breakdown in your group where someone, God's saying something through you, and it's just touching that person. They've probably been mulling over it for a while.
Yeah.
And it comes out in group.
Yeah.
And so how do you manage that breakdown?
Yeah, it can sometimes be little things in group, and you notice it. And this is where really getting to know the people and making sure your group's safe. It doesn't happen week one. Well, some people besides me are really good at groups, and so maybe it happens week one. My group, it takes 3 to 6 months to build that trust, just because I don't know, I'm just not a great group leader, but it's okay. We're all on the team here, and so you can see sometimes something's a little off in somebody. Maybe they're just quiet one week, or just something's going on, or you can sense some tension. Sometimes it's a full-on breakdown. Somebody, you ask a question and they just start sharing something, and it's like, waterworks. For some people, they cry. Some people get angry. But there's something going on there. And in that situation, I think step one, if it's appropriate in that moment, I think you just stop everything.
Yeah.
Like, acknowledge it, and I'd say take a moment and pray for them. Mm-hmm. Stop group. Like, who cares about the group guide? Throw it on the ground and pray for them. And I just think that's a Jesus moment where He shows up. But then also, it can't stop there. There's got to also be kind of an offline component of it where you say, hey, wow, Jesus just showed up, and we got to be the church together. But there's an offline component to it. So when it goes offline, what do you do next? Wait, there's 2 other things we missed here. We had a script. So
there's a script.
So other things that you could recognize that there's maybe a crisis going on. A moment for you to lean in is you see something on Facebook. I'd be friends with everybody that's in your group on Facebook.
Maybe Craigslist.
again, ignore.
Crazy.
And then another way that you might recognize there's a crisis going on is they just don't show up. They miss group.
They've been absent.
They've been absent, and so I just think that's crucial. You're just paying attention. You're knowing the flock that God's entrusted to you. So you recognize it. Step 2 is what?
Let's turn our script to page 2.
Page 2.
So our next step is how do we respond? Kevin sort of addressed that. Meet their need right where they're at. Pray. Yeah. Stop group, and obviously God's moving within the group, and stop. Take a second, and pray about it. Meet them exactly where they're at, in your home, on a couch, at a coffee shop, wherever it is. Yeah. God's in that moment, and don't be scared. Don't be uncomfortable. Don't be embarrassed, but pray about it. Pray that God gives you those words. Pray that God works through you, and do what only God can do.
Yeah, there's actually scripture, I think it's in the book of Matthew, and Jesus talks about, hey, when you don't have the words to say, God will give you the right words to say. And I just think that's so powerful when you're in that moment and you're uncomfortable and you're out of your zone, that God can show up and speak. So second thing is follow up offline. And so I just say, set up a time to grab coffee, a phone call, whatever you got to do, because, sometimes a conversation, it could even be after group. Group gets done, people are kind of dismissing. This happens at my house every week where somebody will just stay, and usually it's because my wife is really a safe person to talk to, and people will just spill their guts to her, and so there's a moment to follow up. It's not in front of 12 or 14 or 20 people. It's one-on-one, and you get to follow up that way and kind of share with them some steps. Also, online we have some resources, right?
Yep, you can just go to the newlife.tv website.
Newlife.tv.
And then you go to group resources, and from there you should be able to figure out where you're going to go. And if you can't do that, and you have trouble navigating, we have some other resources for you. Yeah,
we're going to pop some phone numbers on the screen here for my personal cell phone number. I think we're putting Brad Page's personal cell phone number. This guy's got a degree in pastoral care from Liberty University, biblical studies. So he's got a couple things to offer.
And VCR TV repair as well.
This is like the funniest one I've been a part of.
I'm working on the HVAC.
And then we didn't ask Kaylee, but we're going to also put Kaylee's phone number.
She said call between 8 p.m. and about 4 a.m., I believe.
You're killing me. Step 3, I think, is just crucial. And so when it's time to call one of us or you have questions, don't hesitate to do that. But also take the opportunity to involve others. Contact your community pastor. You have somebody in your life, and if they haven't met with you by now, let me know. Say, hey, Kevin, I don't know who my community pastor is, and I'll go and ring somebody's doorbell and make sure they get in touch with you, because you should have somebody that's investing in you.
You can text them,
and they'll follow up with you. But I love the idea of involving other people from your group. And one of the blessings that's happened in my group is I started off saying, hey, this is just going to be a group of young people, young couples. We all got a bunch of little kids, and some friends of ours invited themselves basically and said, hey, can we be in your group? One of them turned 75 this Saturday. Turns out he knows a lot more about how to have a successful marriage than I do. And so
he's got some experience on you.
Yeah, I got a couple years.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty cool to actually involve other people. And there's some crucial things. Number one, privacy is important. Ask permission. Make sure that the person that shares with you knows that you're going to share this, and ask the permission to share it. And then there was something else.
There was something else.
I don't know what it was.
Handoff.
Oh, yeah, the handoff is just crucial. So you're asking for permission, and then you're letting them know, hey, I want to connect you with this person from our group or this other counselor or this other resource. Handoffs are crucial, and that's where we're most likely to lose people when it comes to pastoral care moments, because they're in this delicate state, and if we don't almost hand deliver them,
we don't want to drop the baton. We want to make sure it's handed off appropriately, and that the person feels that they're not just being let go, that we're handing them off.
Yeah.
And we still care, and we're still there.
I love the track analogy. That's
analogy. He's a track star.
Yeah. Track's my thing. So
it's his thing.
The next thing when we're talking about how to what was the second one we were doing?
Let's look at the script.
Let's look at the script. How to respond, and then the next thing is meet tangible needs. One of the things that I think is really cool, mealtrain.com. It's funny. People.
It's a website.
It's a website,
yeah.
By the way. But people are so blessed when you just set up a meal train for a week. Everybody in your group can do one, and you just put their address in there. They get to pick a day, and I've been through seasons where we experienced a death in the family, and these meals started showing up and at our house, and we had leftovers. It ended up, it was a week of meals that lasted us about 2.5 weeks, and it was just a blessing.
Well, typically people need to eat. It's a great need we can meet. We're all hungry, so we meet them where their mouth is.
All right. Other things, gift cards. Take them out to coffee, text messages, phone calls. Don't underestimate the power of a
sword. I don't know where we're going with that.
Handwritten card.
The card, yeah.
I just think
Hallmark has them.
that's super powerful. Brad's missing some cues here, but it's okay. So
I apologize.
A handwritten card just saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," just means the world to people. It cost you 42 cents. It might be more than that now, but
it's 42 stems.
It goes a long ways, and it's kind of a lost art these days.
And when was the last time you received a handwritten card?
So moving on, number 4.
It's been a while.
Is follow up and maintenance, and that's kind of a weird word, maintenance.
I like it,
but when there's somebody that's in a moment of need of pastoral care, it's not just like it goes away and we solve it.
Right.
I'd like to solve it. I can go and fix my car and it's done. I can get my computer fixed,
and it's done.
It's done.
Like you said,
people are different.
Yeah, there's an ongoing need there. It comes into play with the handing off the baton.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to get the baton back and just sort of text, respond, and just make sure that person knows that you're still in their life and you haven't handed them off.
Yeah. And that's one of the most beautiful things I think about groups is
Beautiful.
that groups give us that opportunity to connect with folks on a weekly basis. I think that's why Jesus wants us in community. That's why he modeled it, because he knew that if we were going to care for one another, carry each other's burdens, celebrate with each other, we had to be consistent and regular. And so even if you connect them with a counselor, or you connect them with a pastor, or you connect them with somebody else besides yourself, you're still connecting with them on a weekly basis in group, text messages, phone calls, and I wouldn't underestimate the power of follow-up when it comes to pastoral care, because sometimes people think we forgot about them. So, Brad, any closing thoughts?
It's some of us haven't had those situations yet, and I pray that you do. It's a great moment. It's not a catastrophe. It's not even an episode. It's a time where your group has gotten so close and so real that people feel like they can open up, and it's going to give you tingles when God starts using you, and you're like going to be so scared, but like God's going to use you to speak through someone's life. And if you need examples, I think the woman at the well is a great example of how God met someone's needs right then and there.
Yeah. Yeah, and the beautiful thing about it is help people that go through moments of catastrophe, of crisis, and maybe this is speaking to you right now because you've gone through moments like this. How does God want to use this moment? I don't think God wastes a hurt. God uses everything in our lives for the good of those who love him, I think Romans 8:28 says. And I think he wants to take these moments of crisis, of pain, of difficulty, and he wants us to actually use those to minister to other people. And that's really where it becomes arrows out. It's not about us. It's about God using us to help heal the world. And I just think it's a beautiful thing that we get to be involved in that. So, hey, thanks for joining us on this video today. I think we went a little long, but the comic relief on this guy was funny. So let me know if we should have him back. Thanks, guys. God bless.
I'm not touching you.